Well, there are more claims about social media taking the social out of friendships and the romance and sex out of Aussie lives. Relationship expert and author Dr. Nikki Goldstein joins us now with a potential fix for all that. It's great to see you, Doctor. So is the time we spend on social media actually hurting the connections that we have with people, or is it much deeper than that?
Well, I feel like this is an obvious one. Like, we all know that we're connected to our phones. But when this recent research came out by Skins that we're spending 2 to 2.5 hours a day on social media, that's where we have to really start thinking about to what extent. And that shocked me. I thought they were talking about maybe it's a week, but that's per day.
Wow.
So we have a look at all the times that we're saying to our partner, we're too busy to do this, or, I wish I had more time in the day, or I wish I had more time for myself, and what impact that has on our lives. We really need to consider this amount and think, are we spending too much? And do we need to be balancing and refocusing to actually benefit our lives?
You make the interesting observation that humans crave intimacy, yet we've become hooked on social media, which cultivates sort of a one-way thing, a one-dimensional thing. How does it work together? Why, if we crave intimacy, are we going for these devices?
Well, this is the interesting thing. So in the same study, they found that we're more connected than we've been ever before,
right,
but we're not as happy and intimate. So we are getting intimacy by these devices. We're connecting with people, we're staying in touch with friends, we feel like we're in each other's lives, but we're taking away from our personal relationships. So we will always crave intimacy, but when we find new ways of being intimate, it does take away from physical intimacy.
Is it a double-edged sword in that it's taking away from your family and the people who are actually with you there and then in the real world, but also showing you endless possibilities of other people who might take your fancy, and also sort of unrealistic, if you're on Instagram, for example, ridiculously unrealistic ideas of how everyone else is living their lives?
Well, this is what I find interesting when we have a look at that result of us being unhappy in our relationships, because we do need to consider, if we're looking at what everyone else is doing, and it's the FOMO, it's the grass is greener on the other side, we then in our own lives go, I'm not as good, or my relationship doesn't look like that. And that's where it's really about bringing back the intimacy. And it might not necessarily be physical intimacy. It might be using technology to enhance your relationship. So if you spend, well, not like that. We could go down that one. But more so, if you're spending time away from your partner, a lot of our communication is non-verbal. So FaceTime, that's an amazing way that we can connect with our partner and be intimate again, whereas we never had that before. So on one hand, we have technology that's taking away from personal relationships. Yes, then we have technology that can enhance it, but let's face it, that no amount of technology will ever replace skin-to-skin contact.
But sometimes it's just a habit.
It is.
Sometimes it's a bad habit, just constantly looking.
It's automatic.
It's automatic. So don't tell me you haven't got time when you've been on that thing all day. So are you optimistic that we can actually adjust to these two new age things, social media and touchy-feely, speaky words? You see, I like a telephone call.
Yeah.
Call me old-fashioned. I like to speak words.
Yeah, well, I think it's about balance. So it's like everything in life, and we need to continue to have these conversations because we need to be able to pinpoint things like this and say, okay, it's great to use your phone, it's great to be on social media, it's great to use FaceTime, but let's become more aware of the impact it's having so we can achieve that balance instead of getting to that automatic stage where it's such a negative effect and we're not even aware of how much
I have the
time.
feeling it will actually change the way human beings are. The machines will actually reprogram our
100%.
brains and will change the way we think about relationships and what we expect relationships to be.
Oh, it's happening now. We were talking earlier in the show about micro-cheating, which is where you like people's posts, you slide into people's direct messages as a form of cheating. What are your views on this?
Well, this is really talking about cheating in general because we can't define it. And now that we have this avenue where we can communicate and be intimate with someone else, it's not a touch, it's not a kiss. So a lot of people say, well, I'm not cheating. But if you have to hide whatever you're doing online from your partner, then that's being deceitful. And I would say that there is something in that. Maybe it's not cheating like we stereotypically have seen cheating, but why is it that you can't tell your partner, hey, this person just sent me a direct message? Or, why would you have to hide your phone to say, look, who's liking my posts?
Why are you double tapping pictures of her in her bikini and not liking my posts?
Why are you locking your phone so I can't see it? These are the things that we really have to look at. Well, why are we hiding them from our partner?
Yeah. The only thing that should be double tapped is Jeffrey Epstein.
Dr. Nikki Goldstein, it's always a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.